why productized services are great, right? Why productized services are bad. So the efficiency of productized services. Productized services offer a streamlined, efficient approach to delivering solutions. By standardizing your offerings, you can scale your business more effectively, reduce operational complexity, and provide clear expectations to clients. This model allows for consistent pricing and easier sales processes, leading to increased profitability and smoother workflows. Embrace the simplicity and scalability of productized services for long-term success. What I find, though, is that there are a lot of, one, if you're neurodivergent, doing the same bloody thing over and over again like a broken record is very difficult. So I deal a lot with people with ADHD. And I know for me, if I'm just like robotic about my process and how I'm doing things, it even if another way is a better way, it won't work for me very well. And I will really struggle to do that. And what I find is not everybody wants to scale in the ways that the productized services you're probably doing, depending on what it is. But I think a lot of creatives get sucked into the allure of the scalability, the simplicity, the recurring revenue. Because usually it's like, don't do one-off projects, do recurring revenue, and productize your service. Like these are the things that go really well together with a lot of personality types and people who are really good at systems and structure and frameworks and formulas and step-by-steps. Like when their brain works that way, productized services, recurring revenue, non-one-off projects, like those things, they all integrate really well. And for them, the creativity isn't from taking something from scratch and playing with all these ingredients and making something, right? I find great joy in putting spreadsheets together and documents and all these things. Like I always say, one person's blessing is another's curse. I have a client who talks about doing, hype videos. And the hype videos are basically, music video, a sizzle video, a highlight reel, highlight video, where it essentially is just clips and music. You can get away without very much pre-production on these types of projects, because if you're really good at it, you can show up. Typically, they're like live events. You can show up, shoot, edit, and show, right? Super simple. And so as a byproduct, brain fart. See, I'm human. Oh man, nobody's here to bring me back on pace. God dang. What was I just saying? It doesn't happen often. This is the you can just shoot, edit, show. Bloody hell. God dang. Oh crap. What was I gonna say? Well, anybody can leave a comment. You can go, here's what you were gonna say. Please continue on if you've made it this far in the video. Yeah, you can shoot, edit, show that night. I'm talking about productized services. Man, I have just. Anyways, I'll just go back to it. That whole point is to be missed, unfortunately, for right this second. Oh, I knew what I was going to say. God forbid. So that kind of video, geez Louise, that kind of video essentially doesn't require much pre-production or post-production. If you're good at what you do, you can just show up. So my client, though, he hates those videos. They're a curse for him. So his hell is my heaven. I love those kind of videos, just like this. Like I've done a little bit of planning for this, but to the degree that like I'm going to script out every word and do that, it's not going to happen. I'll never consistently create content scripting these videos so that I can say what I need to say in 5 minutes. So to the people that are going to be impacted by me, it'll only be to the degree I might do a little bit of planning. I have a little bit of structure here. I've been reading these things off and then kind of ad-libbing, and that flow overall works really well for me. So that's my heaven. I can be consistent showing up that way. That's what I love to do in video production, is when I just got to show up and shoot and edit and show, it was fantastic. So I didn't like all the pre-production, all the post-production, but there's other people where they like all of that. And I find that people who like productized services like the preparation and planning phase more than at times the quote unquote execution or the creativity. I like to be more spontaneous and come into things with like, let the cards lay where they may. I used to attempt in my wedding business to be very, to be very strict about how I was like productized. I tried to go in and I would ask the couple, when is this happening, the timeline, and essentially get all these specifics. And I'd show up, and the dad's supposed to be there at 9 a.m. And I get there at 8:30. He already showed up, and they're crying, wiping their tears off, and I missed the whole thing. Right? Nobody told me. And it would throw me off because I would have a song pre-picked. I would have a timeline of the day. And I thought these shots are going to go here and this is going to go here. And I got to get putting on the shoes and the ring and button up a jacket. And it became, to me, very not creative, very cookie cutter. And I wasn't enjoying myself. Plus, I was being constantly disappointed because I was happening to film live events, which in that atmosphere, it's very difficult to, systemize exactly what you're going to do. If you're planning a shoot, if you're doing something that can have a lot of planning and preparation, and then you're going to go in and like, hey, we're going to do this part of the day, we're going to record these videos, and they're scripted and they're very structured. That's great. That works. But in the live action world, that's harder to do. So again, somebody in, say, the wedding industry or the live event industry may have a more challenging time fully productizing and systemizing all their services. Within it, there can be systems and automations and things that can be in place to help you. But like the actual product itself, the wedding, specifically in that industry, is something that you're not going to be able to just carbon copy, spit out. And that's why scalability is likely going to only come from hiring a lot of videographers. But for a lot of people, that's not really what they want. They like doing the projects. They like filming the weddings. They like filming the projects. And so removing themselves from that and becoming that CEO, for some, that's the next natural step. And for others, that's going to suck, basically. And they're not going to like that. And I find, again, that there's people who love being the creative, who love, doing the work and having it be custom and doing all those things. But then somebody comes along who hates all those things and will paint the picture of why all that is bad. And to the degree you believe in yourself and trust in yourself and the way you're doing things will be to the degree that you listen to this other person. There's people who are very strong in their ways and very, I want to call level-headed. I don't know why that came to mind, but they're like, I got this and I love it. And it doesn't matter what anybody says. They ignore it. They ignore the naysayers. They ignore other people. They do their thing and they move along, and that's that, right? But then there's a lot of people who lack confidence and lack conviction and lack certainty and lack self-esteem. And so it's a byproduct when they're doing something that could be working well and they're really enjoying, but somebody on the internet, on a podcast, on a video like this comes along and says all these reasons why. They're describing your situation. And there might be little pains in that situation, but they're describing your situation, and then they're painting a picture about how what you're doing is wrong and what you're doing is bad. When in fact, if you didn't realize that you got shorts and t-shirts on in, a place that's hot, it's good to wear shorts and t-shirts, not a parka and like mittens and gloves and 5 pairs of socks, right? But you that nuance is left out. That part is left out, and so you just hear you're this and that and da da da, and you're like, yeah, okay, that might make sense. And then you start putting on this thing, go outside, and you're like sweating profusely, like that didn't work, and it doesn't make sense. And so what I do and want to do for you in this video and in potentially future ones, because I think this was fun. We'll see how it's received, but to start showing this contrast, the light side, the dark side of different concepts and different things that are out there, and allowing people to hear both sides so that you can start being more aware that when you're watching videos, when you're listening to marketing messages, when you're thinking about courses or programs or whatever, you're essentially viewing it through the lens that there could be another side of this equation. So before I, again, burn my business to the ground or destroy everything and go after this thing just because someone else says I should do it, not because I should, maybe there's little nuances you should implement, but you shouldn't tear your whole business down and recreate a different one, because you might find you put that ladder against the wrong, wall. And this worked for someone, but not for everyone. And that someone might not be you. It might, but it might not be. And sometimes when you go a whole path expecting a certain outcome and then you don't get it, it's really discouraging and it's really disappointing, especially if that process is not as natural and fun and enjoyable for you. And I've seen over and over again people struggle when they're following systems and procedures that work for someone but not everyone. Again, fact versus fiction. We've got to separate the two. What is fact? What is fiction? What is true for everyone? What is true for someone? Very few things in business are factual in the sense that they apply to everyone. And I've had to learn that the hard way at times, because I've had very successful, smart people give me advice that wasn't bad advice. It just wasn't the best advice for me in my situation. And if it would have been more custom tailored versus looked at in a very rigid, black and white way, in a more flexible way, and having nuance to it, it could have been amazing. And so I've had too much stuff in my life that I got too rigid about, had too many rules, had too many this or that, either or, black and white, that it caused a lot of issues financially in my business and a lot of struggle that I probably could have avoided if I would have made nuanced adjustments and blended some things together versus this is wrong and this is right. So I hope you found this valuable today. If you have any questions, comments, or anything else, don't hesitate to reach out. You can go to themindmechanic.net and reach out to me if you want to consider working with me. This is how I work with people, but it's personalized and private to you. There's no scheduled calls. I don't do that. I have a very special way of working. So you can go there, check it out. You can get more details about how it all works. And I usually do, as of right now, a little test drive with people to help them get a taste of if personalized private advice and working with me would work for you before you have to commit to anything. And I don't have any $5,000 or $10,000+ programs. It's all private and personalized to you. That's all I care about right now. The rest is content that you can consume like this. Otherwise, yeah, so you can go there. You can go on any of the platforms and send me a message as well if you find this useful. Got a lot of other content you can check out. So keep rocking, keep rolling, and let me know if any of these you fell prey to. So rock and roll, my friend. Take care. Bye.